Hello, welcome to the Friday Vibe at Integrity Magazine. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I am so delighted to have with us this evening the adorable, the multi-talented. I'm absolutely in awe of this lady, the multi-talented Honey Lauren, actress, director, and writer, who is actually in LA at the moment. So thank you so much for joining us here in the UK, Honey. How are you doing?
I'm great. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and all your kind words. And the feelings are mutual. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Hi.
Honestly, you've done so much. When I was reading your bio, because we've got mutual contacts. That's why I know about you. And then you're in. So I interviewed Tom Mulligan, and he's in a film called Sweet Taste of Souls. Then I interviewed the writer and the director, B and Felicity of that, and then obviously that's how I've got to know you. And then when I read your bio and your resume, it was like, oh my gosh, this woman is incredibly talented.
Oh,
I mean, I'm all I can say is you're going to be up there soon with the Tarantinos and the Scorseses because you are super talented. It's unbelievable. It's such a pleasure to have you on this evening.
thank you. With all my heart, your words are really sweet. I really appreciate it. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and it's really the only job I've ever had, really. So I've had um, a lot of years to be doing this. So over time, you grow a body of work. And yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's nice how small the world gets at a certain
Yes,
point.
especially during lockdown. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We all seem to be going, it's like everyone's walking in the same shoes at the moment, and going through the same stuff, which in a way, globally, especially for creatives, because we're all we're all struggling at the moment. So many of us have lost projects, work has been cancelled. A lot of us claiming benefits for the first time in our lives. And, we're struggling. But there's this almost community of strength and community of encouraging each other, that we see, that I feel that we're giving on social media. Do you agree?
Oh, yes. I have to say that, I mean, this is a remarkable time to be alive, first of all. And I think on some level, we choose to be here during this time, which is so hippy dippy, but I have to believe that.
I
And
get it.
oh, yeah. And the way I must say, the outpouring of people on social media, I've never felt it so intensely, kindly. I know there's a lot of hate in the zeitgeist, especially in
Mm.
the US with what's going on right now, but globally as well as here, I mean the outreach to people towards me and to me to them. I mean it's just been incredible. I must say maybe I'm just a little addicted to Facebook now, where I was not before.
Yes. It's really hard, isn't it? It's like you're always like going in and checking and saying, right, okay, well, who's posted what's going on?
It's a way to stay in touch. Of course, there's a lot of crazy out there, so you have to be able to filter. But at the same time, it's so thank God we have it. Can you imagine if we were going through this without it? No internet? I mean, that would be insane.
Well, I wouldn't be talking to you, would I? Writer, actress, and director. Now, honey, when did you know? And okay, I'm gonna take you back to when you were a child, okay, which wasn't that long ago.
Oh, right.
Um, so, when did you know that you wanted to work in the creative industry, and what
Yeah.
role did you want to play? Was it a writer? Was it an actress? Even a director? What role did you think that you wanted to do when you were younger?
Growing up in Los Angeles, I definitely wanted to be an actor, and I had really great, groovy, cool parents. I really did. They were very supportive in the arts. My dad would wake up in the middle of the night to stand in line to get me into some art class that only accepted 10 people. I mean, they were out there artists themselves. However, when it came to the acting, they were kind of old school. They're like, yeah, we're not getting you an agent for that. They didn't want anything to do with that, although I might have been in shows. I danced. But in terms of the acting, they professionally, they were like, that's not happening. So I ended up leaving home at 16 and
Okay.
going to school uh, to an acting institute in San Francisco. But so I knew right away when I was young, this is what I wanted to do. I didn't, I think I was always writing when I was a kid, like journals and poetry, things like that. I wasn't disciplined writer by any means. So so it was really the acting came first for me, for sure.
And how did you get your break, and what age were you?
Well, it for me it was like, let's see, I moved to San Francisco at 16. I became emancipated like a legal adult so that I can go to the American Conservatory Theater, which is a very prestigious school. Other things happened. This is in San Francisco where I ended up working with the Angels of Light. I mean, this was like um, one of the biggest drag groups. They were offshoots of the Cockettes, which is before your time, and so before my time. And and I was dancing professionally, and I was like, wow, I knew I had to get back to LA to do it. So I ended up getting back to LA. I wasn't in the union. I had a dance agent. I got an agent very easily, not the greatest, kind of mediocre. But I booked, I got into the union almost immediately, like within the year. So I felt very, very fortunate about that. And that's, so it happened pretty quickly. I'd say within the first 24 months of being in LA in
That's
terms
pretty good going.
yeah, because
Yeah.
one of the things is back then, if I could say that, they used a lot of dancers in commercials. And
Yes.
now this is like things were shot. We had two unions here. We had AFTRA, uh, we had Screen Actors Guild. So after was anybody can join. You just had to have the money, and I was able to do that with the dancing. But Screen Actors Guild was like a whole other thing. So I yeah. So once I got into that, which happened within the 2 year period, maybe sooner, I ended up booking a pilot on a major network show, and just one episode. But that's what got me going. So
But it's just that one, isn't it? And I always say that it's always something that will start you off. There's always like my puppy is chewing my feet. Just so if you see me grimace or move funny, it's just that my puppy is chewing my feet. Uh, just to let you know. Yeah, so there's always something that will start
yeah.
you going on the right path. What so you had that pilot, and then what happened after that?
After that, I soon after that, I think I got into Dracula, which was a very big project, but it was a very small part in a big project. But
That was Coppola's Dracula, wasn't it?
was, and so it took him a long time to make that movie, a long time, and so I ended up going back many times. So it was pretty amazing to work on such a big scale thing. And again, this was a time I feel like there were more union jobs available. There were bigger. There's a lot of production happening, and so there was a lot of opportunity. Now, with that, I was not one of those people that just got tons of auditions or even tons of jobs. I had a very specific way I looked.
Yeah.
It was very during that time when I was coming up, things people weren't as open as they are today. My hair, my real hair color is like a blue black, and I'm very pale.
Really?
Oh yeah, like crazy black, blue black. It's like, do you have blue hair? That's how dark my hair was, and that's just was what I was going with because I didn't have money to change it or didn't even think of it. So so I had a very specific look, and this was before the time of what we call now ethnically ambiguous. People were very confused by what I looked like. So I didn't have a lot of opportunities. I just had to really make the best of the opportunities that I got. I mean, I had to if I was lucky to get an audition, I had to get it. That was like,
I get it. I understand.
I knew people who would blow them off. I was just like, oh my God. So I never in my career had one of those kind of careers that just, audition after audition. It's just never happened like that for me because so much of casting is typecasting. As I've gotten older, I've definitely grown more, I think, a softer looking, more into my looks, lighten hair a little bit, things like that, and a little more accessible.
Yeah.
But in the day, it was really difficult for me. It really was.
And were there times, because I think this happens for most actors and actresses in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, were there times when you were like probably doing those bit jobs, the the bit, the small acting jobs, you get where you can, but you were also probably waitressing or, doing anything you could to pay your bills and to pay rent, etc. Was there any time when you thought, I can't do this anymore, especially because you had a limited audition scope? Were there times when you thought, I just can't do this? This is really hard.
Never thought it for 1 minute.
Excellent.
Which is so, like, I must have been, nutty, but I guess I'm kind of stubborn, but it never occurred to me not to do it. I was teaching dance, so I was always sort of in it. I was doing photography. I was teaching. I was also teaching what they call like a floor bar exercise. So I had my own business going, so I could always earn money. And I was probably one of the first personal like dance trainers, blah, 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 out here. So I was always able to get the work I needed to support myself of some kind. I never had to rely on one of those horrible jobs. And that was lucky for me, because I don't think I would have done well to work for somebody else for too long. And it's just because, you never know with your schedule.
Yeah.
But no, it never occurred to me to stop. And so it never did. So I guess that's a good thing, or maybe a crazy thing, or maybe I was in some kind of denial. I don't know. But I was.
Did you have a vision? Did you have? Did you know where you wanted to go? Did you always have a goal? Did you have a dream? Did you know exactly where you wanted to go? Did that fuel you?
I don't think that I was very well organized in my thinking. I'm just going to be honest. I never thought, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to do this. I just wanted to work, and the work was so important to me. I had to be good. I had to do good work. I don't care the size of the job. I mean, I was just about doing the best work I could do.
Can you hear the puppy? Right. Bear with me 1 minute. It's so unprofessional. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to have to take.
Oh, he's gone.
What does that? I think I might get away with it. It's fine. It's somebody left something on the floor for him. They just left him there, and they went upstairs. So was there like a role that you got that you thought, do you know what? I'm actually on the path now. I can see myself being an actress. Was there a role that you took on? Because you mentioned the sitcom, you mentioned going for auditions, Dracula. Was there like something that happened to you that you thought, yeah, this is great. I'm on that path.
Well, I always, every time I got a job, I kind of felt like that. I'm going to be really honest with you. And oddly enough, I did a lot of bigger budget things, right? Like studio things, which is fabulous. But then I did a small film, and that was, for me, a turning point. It was this tiny film called Men Cry Bullets. I worked with a wonderful director, and her name is Tamara Hernandez, and she was pretty outstanding writer, director. She truly directed. And that's when I thought, you know what? I mean, this was a smaller film. Jerry Ryan, who is a well-known actress, was in it. It was just as she was breaking. She was like a support role. It was me and this other wonderful actor, Stephen Nelson, and then Jerry Ryan. And that was such a tour de force to do this film with this incredible director.
Yes.
All the other jobs I had, even though I had bigger parts in some bigger projects, but this was a lead. I really felt like this was, it was life-changing for me. It's what made me want to start writing. It taught me so much about structure and script. I ended up helping them get finishing funds just to get it. It got distributed in the, theatrically. And it won like all these huge South by South, all these huge festivals. It did so well. And that was a turning point for me. I would say that film.
And what you mentioned, the festivals, you are a multi award-winning actress, director, and writer, which it's absolutely incredible, really. So the festivals, and I've said this when I've interviewed other people on this show, the festivals are so important. Yeah. I'm going to kill the dog, but I'm going to text my daughter to come down and shut the door. because they were meant to shut the door. I do apologize. It's so
No,
unprofessional.
that's fine. No, that's totally good.
Yes. Can you hear him? Bear with me. I'm just going to go and put him out. Apologize.
Absolutely.
Really apologize.
Hi, everybody. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Like crash, boom, bang, you know.
Okay, right. Yes, they left the door open, so the puppy came in, and I hadn't realised they left the door open, and that is just like the most unprofessional thing. But hey, never work with kids and puppies and animals, right?
We need it.
Okay, so yeah. So going back, the writing. So you mentioned that when you were younger, you used to write, and then you did this role, and then that really encouraged you to want to write again. So where did that lead you then? What kind of things were you writing? Were they screenplays? Were they?
Yeah, I did. I met so many people during this film that I ended up writing a feature that I had in mind, and I immediately optioned it. I mean, my writing was so well received, so fast. I was shocked, and I ended up working with the distribution company who distributed that. They we were I ended up going to New York to meet with Abel Ferrar with the script. I mean, crazy. Just like things started happening really fast. When things start happening, it kind of happens like really fast.
Yeah.
And I think because I was so involved with that film, not just as an actor, but towards the end, raising funds to the finishing funds, just so that they could release it. Because anytime you make a movie, it costs a lot to finish it, even after. I mean, to deliver the deliverables. And so I was just so involved. I was like, gosh, I think I could write a script. I don't know why. I mean, I've read so many in my life, like thousands of scripts. And I got to tell you, it came so easily. I felt so grateful for that, when something just kind of works, I was like, oh, thank you. So that was nice. And again, I made so many contacts during that time.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to jump on this. And it was fun to do. And I got a lot of attention, a lot of work after that as well. Yeah. And the industry was changing, at that point. This is like pre-digital. This is just on the cusp of digital. So things really started to blow up soon after that. I remember when people shot on film, even these little films, we shot on Super 16 and it was so beautiful to look at. So things got a little crazy because at first with digital, things didn't look so very dark. But now it's not like that at all. Now you could use digital and it looks beautiful, but it became cheaper to make a movie.
So how many scripts have you actually written so far?
Well, about 10.
That's pretty good going.
Yeah, I mean a lot. And I had every single script optioned, and I've had the opportunity a few times to I'm come close to getting some of my features made, but I didn't. Being an actor also and having to earn a living and everything else, you try to always put yourself completely in the producer thing. So I think just by virtue of doing everything else, I never ended up making one of my features, not yet, but I am going to make a feature next. So.
What about Wives of the Sky? Because you wrote that one. I thought you directed that one, or did you? Yes, was it only written?
Yeah, I wrote and directed it. Wives of the Skies. It's a 22-minute film, and wow, it's really taken off.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think that's where I obviously Sweet Taste of Souls. I knew that you're in the lead of that, and it's amazing. The trailer looks great, and I know it comes out on Sunday. Is it Sunday? First of November? Yeah. So it comes out on Sunday. So everyone, you have to see this film. It's amazing. It's really, really. It just looks. I love the concept of it.
Yeah, and the people were so
really clever film.
Yeah. Felicity Mudgett wrote it, and she was a producer on it, as well as B. Henderson. She was the producer. These women are incredible people, not just
Yes.
filmmakers. I mean, they're just good people. They're just the most amazing and kind of beautiful to look at. Which
Yeah, but beautiful souls that really emanated across that when I interviewed them, that they were just, I don't know, kind of know who they are. And you know, that's one of my questions actually is, you know, we need more people like that in the film industry, more women who are very balanced, know they are, you know, kind of, I don't know, accommodating to other people. That's how I felt. They're very kind, they're very accommodating to other people. And, you know, the talent that they have is incredible, as do you. I mean, your talent is, and it's recognized by the industry because of all the awards that your work is winning.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've been very, I was really surprised how well received. I've directed 3 films, and I'm always shocked when it's just, you don't know how things are going to be received. So
Of
I'm
course.
really, really excited that how well they've been received. Wise the Skies on Prime now. I mean, I got it at distribution, worldwide distribution, and I did it a little earlier than I might have given because of the pandemic.
Of course, of course.
Nothing like releasing a movie during pandemic.
Doing anything in pandemic, anything, you know, like releasing 3 books is pretty crazy because you can't have any book tours or, you know, book events. But you just have to do it. You just have to follow your creative passion, which is exactly what you've done. You've released Wives of the Skies, and it's, to be honest, it's all everything is streaming now. We're not going to the cinemas anymore. Well, very few people are going to the cinemas.
Because we love those festivals, you know.
Yeah,
I got to get to 2 of them before everything shut down. It all shut down like within 2 weeks. And
I know.
you know, I still cry about it. And yes, it's lovely to do virtual festivals. Nothing like sitting by yourself in your room with your headphones on and watching by yourself. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's the whole thing. I mean, the industry, because you went to people watching won't know this, but you actually your document. You'll have to ignore the dog. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
It's one of those things. Doesn't work. But yes. So Happy Hands, I think it's called, with Tippi Hedren.
Yeah.
So that was nominated for the Academy Awards in 2014.
Yeah, no, it qualified.
Qualified.
It qualified for Academy Award in 2014, I think, or 2015.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. It won an Academy qualifying festival, and then it got a distribution deal, which is pretty unusual for a short. But it happens. There are some shorts out there that actually play in the movie theaters, and this one did. And it was a beautiful story with Tippi Hedren, and what an amazing woman she is. She's a powerhouse. I was like blown away by her, and it's a beautiful story, and I got really lucky with that. I mean, what happened is I made a movie, a short called Doc Got Shot, and it was an alumni of some organization out here in California, and they came to all of us directors and they said, "Why can you pitch us your best LA story?" And I'm like, "Well, sure." And I thought about all the nail salons we have here that are Vietnamese, and I knew there was a history and what is the origin of this pattern. Anywhere there's a pattern, there's a story.
Mm-hmm.
So are you still there?
I'm still here.
I investigated it, and I found this incredible story. I wasn't the first to report it. Oh, my thing is going crazy here.
It looks fine our end. Don't worry, we got barking dog, and you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, all the electricity in my house. So what happened is, you know, the story was so intriguing about the origins of the Vietnamese nail industry, and she was a big piece of it. And there's a lot to the story, but I focused on that, and I contacted her, and she agreed to do it, and then I got. So I mean, it was pretty amazing. It was really fun, and it was.
I'd be interested to see actually, because well, my daughter does nails. My kids go to my 2 teens go and have their nails done, and lots of girls do. And I'm fascinated because there's always a certain, you know, it is run by a certain culture, really, I guess. And I'm really interested. I'd be really interested in watch that.
Well, this will explain how it became the Vietnamese American dream, basically. And Tippi Hedren was at the helm of it's a fascinating story. So I will absolutely send you the link.
Can you hear him?
The dog, yeah, I can hear the dog a little bit. Don't worry.
Okay. It's not too bad though, is it? I don't want it to disturb your interview. I mean, it's so fascinating. I don't want my dog to disturb your interview. So let's talk women in Hollywood, okay? Because I know it's a tricky subject, but there are so many talented women, as we are seeing, and part of the Friday vibe is to get as many talented people, to talk about their achievements, their works, etc., as possible. And such an honor having amazing creative people like yourself and being Felicity on. When do you think that talent is going to break that glass ceiling? And do you believe there is a glass ceiling?
Oh yes, there's definitely a ceiling. Look, this industry is a boys' club.
I know.
That's the reality. I think that's an important thing to recognize. It's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. That doesn't mean you can't get movies made. And it doesn't mean you should try and become a filmmaker if you're a woman. But there is that. I think the idea is to make sure you've got the work, that your work is so good. I mean, story is everything.
Yes.
And that's my opinion on this. And so I feel like, will the cream rise to the top, as they say? I believe it will. I think luck plays a piece of this. People hate it when I say that, but I believe that.
Do you think right place, right time, or meeting the right people?
Yeah, I think all that is your good luck. But what you have control over is being prepared and having the greatest content. You need to not mess around with that. And that's, people are going to see that and they will recognize it. And I feel like I've gotten really lucky in that regard, that I've been able to come up with content that I'm just thrilled, wherever the ideas come from, that I'm able to do it. And I've been able to get some stuff out there. And I feel like that is like top priority. Always do the best work you can, because you never know who's going to see it. Also, just for your own mind. And also, obviously, have the best, story if you want to be a storyteller, if you're going to be a screenwriter. So
no, that's really good advice.
I myself with really good people too. I had a great cinematographer for Wise of the Skies. That guy knocked it out of the park for me. We worked together on it, and he boy, it's like our minds joined. It was incredible. I'm kind of love this guy now. I mean, it's like so crazy. It's like, whoa.
But it was like you said, it was really good content. It was really good idea. The concept of Wives in the Skies is a great idea, as is Sweet Taste of Souls. It's a really amazing idea, but very powerful lead roles. Like, you had 4 main characters, didn't you? I've only seen the trailer. So
Wives?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen? Oh, yeah. There were 4 characters, and you really want to see it. It all takes place in 1965. And it really is an allegory for women in society, and it's not in any way cliched or hit the hammer with the nail on the head. I mean, it's subtle and fabulous and sexy, and it's really fun. I'm very proud of it. Really
excellent.
Is. Yeah.
And so, if you had to give advice for any women wanting to get into the film industry, whether it's whichever capacity, the dog is now going upstairs, which should have happened before. I'm just going to show you the puppy quickly so you can see this little pickle. There you go, very quickly. There he is.
Oh my gosh.
Very noisy. Thank you, Lauren. So the any advice to anyone in the film, any women in the film industry wanting to, whether it's acting, directing, cinematography, producing, directing, what advice would you give them, knowing that this glass ceiling does exist? Because it exists in the UK film industry as well. It's not just Hollywood, obviously.
Yeah, well, again, it's always do the best work. And I feel like you have to go into it with you have to be super thick-skinned here. And I also feel this is very true. surrounding yourself, as I said, with people who are really good, and keep an open mind about it. Don't feel like, hey, I'm a woman, so I need to hire only women. I don't believe that. And
Mm,
I'm I've hired women before. That's it's never the issue. It's like who's right for this job. And I
yes.
think that's important. And also, don't get trapped in the meme of being a woman. The meme of I'm a woman. Like that's not. It's a meme. It's not a story. It's so don't fall into that trap. I think tell your story, whether you're male or female, whatever, and do it well. And I also say that this idea of open mindedness, just have a good attitude and know that. I mean, there's still a lot of uh, the whole sexual harassment thing that happens. It's out there. It's totally out there. And I again just have the right attitude about it. Don't like take the bait. Don't get uh
Yeah.
yeah, don't get like jaded by the whole thing. I
Probably could do with some good mentors like yourself out there, really guiding them. And are there places where, um, if we speak specifically about young women, are there places wanted to get into the industry? Are there kind of mentors? Are there places they can go that would kind of teach them these skills, or do they have to just learn the skills by themselves?
I didn't have a mentor, but I'm sure there are. I mean, I'm sure there are schools and institutions like that. There's something called Women in Film. There are organizations that are very women oriented that I'm sure that is a way to find a mentor. I'd be happy to mentor somebody, myself. And but I'm sure there are places that if they're looking for that kind of thing, and I think it's a great thing to do.
Excellent.
I didn't think to do that myself ever, but it's like,
Don't think you needed it. I mean, you are someone who knows who they are and where they're going, and actually seem to be quite comfortable in within yourself. I don't know. That's what I see.
I struggled my whole life with identity a little bit, and I do think that that's just like a normal woman thing
Oh yeah,
in LA. And looking
yeah,
different, I say that I go back to that, but that is a reality, was my reality. So there was alienation and identity issues for sure, like any kid growing up, and also being on my own from such a young
mm,
age. It's like I had to like get comfortable. I had to get there. Otherwise, I could have gone down a really bad path. And I'm like too much of a Girl Scout for that. I didn't have anybody to save me. I didn't have parents
yes,
who, like a lot of my friends did. It's like, oh, I'll just borrow money from my parents. I'm like, what? Really? That's amazing. I didn't have anything like that.
yeah.
So I had to really pull it together at a young age and focus, really
Which you
focus.
seem to have done. I mean, you have produced some phenomenal work. Um,
Mm.
so going obviously with the COVID crisis and lockdown, I don't know what's going to happen in your country, but our country's going gradually into more and more lockdown, possibly got a large lockdown coming, who knows, just like France, we don't know. So, very much everything is online. I'm really, really proud of the film festival organizers because they've managed to keep that momentum going, and the awards. And all the time I see it, everyone you know still posting that they won this award or they were put forward or nominated. It's amazing, and that's great. But how do you, I mean, I don't know what it's like in LA, but how do people network within the industry there?
Um, we do a lot of Zoom calls.
Yeah,
This is like, oh my gosh, we're always on the Zoom, and everything is closed down here. Obviously, with the pandemic, this is a situation. We don't have live shows. Everything is virtual, and networking. It's been interesting, and again, I think because social media, so much focus has gone there because we are all home. We're like, oh, voyeurs. We're watching. I've had people.
absolutely.
I got to tell you, I've had people reach out to me from years ago who want to do this project and that project because of Wise of the Skies, because I saw that. And so it's really important to keep producing, keep getting stuff out there. And then it starts just coming, things start, it's a momentum going. And so within the pandemic, you've got to find a way to make it work for you.
Absolutely.
have
And
to.
be visible. Don't you agree? You have to be visible. And that takes some working on yourself because obviously if we're on our own, I mean, I'm a single parent and, I have no family. I'm very similar. I have a little bit of family, but not much. But, it's very much me on my own, no partner, no family around me. So you have to find your strength from somewhere,
Absolutely.
whether it's
Yeah.
spiritual or just this strong self-belief. Because if you're working, you're a creative person and you're working within the industry, whatever industry, you have to stay visible because it's easy to be forgotten, right? Because it will all pick up again.
It will
And
pick up again. And, people are working out here. They are. And I've turned down a lot of things actually because everything's a guideline. There's no rules here. It's like the Wild West, even in the union world. It's like, well, it's a guideline that you should have. A guideline isn't like a rule, right?
okay, yeah,
Want to do it, that's fine. So I'm not sure I want to be on camera with somebody yelling in my face, because they had a COVID test 4 days ago. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think so. But there are people that are cool with that out here. So we do have some industry happening here.
yes,
I'm being very careful with how I choose what I'm doing during the pandemic. It doesn't mean I'm not working. I am. I also, there are things being done remotely. There's a lot of voiceover. All of a sudden, there's lots of, oh my gosh, so many television shows that are voiceover, that are animated series. And so I've built a studio of my own, so you have to pivot. And you also have
yes,
to decide what risk you're willing to take right now, because the way it is out there. And then I know a lot of friends that are willing to take the risk, and um, they're not even getting COVID tests for their projects. I'm just like, what? How does that happen? So, but everybody's comfort level is different. I also have a
yeah,
husband, and he's a bit older than me, and I just want to be careful with him. I'm
yeah,
doing things I have to do, but I also um, I have a commitment that I've made in my life, and I feel very strong about that. So I'm not turning down everything, but there have been a lot of things I've had to turn down because it's not safe yet out here. It's
yes.
it's just the way
But
it is.
you know that something in the future will pick up, will happen. So you're,
Oh, yeah.
as the reason I'm interviewing you is because you're visible. So you're still visible. You're still posting. You're winning awards. You've got the Waves of the Sky. You've got Taste of the Soul, Sweet Taste of Souls, and I'm sure you've got some other projects coming up quite soon that we will be seeing.
Yes, I actually have another film called Lila, and this director is incredible. A gentleman named Gordon Cowie. He's out of Arizona. His stuff is beautiful. I mean, he's an artist. He's truly an artist. So I have that film coming out, and prior to all that, I work with Paul McCarthy. Do you know who that is?
Who was that? Sorry,
The artist Paul McCarthy, who is a incredible.
I have heard of him.
Oh yeah, he's huge in the art world, and I did several movies with him, and so some of them are coming out. And I also I wrote a novel, which I started pre-pandemic, but took a pandemic for me to finish it. So
Well
I
done.
that'll be released in a couple months. So I have a lot of things coming out, and I keep working, and I'm working on a script now with somebody that will be shooting in Kansas City, and that I'll be directing. And it's a feature. And so I see, you just got to keep going. You got to,
Absolutely. Keep
within.
fingers in pies. Fingers in pies. This is,
Be
yeah.
smart about it too, I think. I mean, this is a remarkable time.
Hmm.
I cry a lot. I'm not going to lie. This has been hard for me. I miss my family so much because I'm one of
Yeah.
the people sticking to the rules. I'm not like kissing my 84-year-old aunt on the face. I'm not seeing her. And I'm not seeing my uncle, and I'm not seeing my cousins and my brother. And these individuals are high risk. And I find it, it's really sad. I can start crying right now, but you have
That's okay. I cry all the time. I'm an emotional soul. I cry all the time.
it's
All
a,
the time.
it's a,
Constantly.
like every day, and so
Yeah.
so you got to take this. You got to be smart right now, and I'm not like one of these people that you're overly cautious. I'm just doing the basic caution. I'm just doing.
But at the same time, honey, you're still getting work out there. You're still
Yeah,
visible and you're still encouraging and other people. you agreed to come on here,
Oh,
and which we're very, even though I had a dog barking and making silly noises, it's like one of those things, right?
I love the
Um,
dog. Let me tell you.
and this is recorded, so everyone will hear the dog barking and making the silly noises over and over again. But the
Yeah.
great thing is that I hope that somebody out there listening will think, okay, well, look, what an incredible woman. She, even though she's choosing not to put herself at risk because of for whatever reasons you've got, as you've explained, that she's still managing, even though she's within her home,
Yeah.
she is still managing to produce the goods. Now, that is key. Whatever,
Yeah.
four walls does not have to be a prison, right?
Absolutely not. And also, the idea is that, look, there are jobs that I will take and have taken under the right circumstances. I'm just saying everybody needs to be smart. And also, the work you create, you can create the kind of set that you want. Without a set of guidelines, how would I feel comfortable?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, probably. So, with that, the work that the content I'm able to make or create, I'm going to do it in a way that I would feel comfortable, so that the actors or myself, we can do something safer. There's always, everything's a relative risk right now, but there are people taking it seriously. There are, and the projects that I have done while we've been in quarantine, they took it very seriously. Like,
Excellent.
yeah, but that's rare. Most people are not even testing now. So
Each to their own. So on the last question, because we've run over, which it's great. I love it. On that question, on that the conversation, obviously we're Integrity Magazine. What does the word integrity mean to you?
It's a lot like character. I think integrity for me is sticking to your commitments even when they don't serve you any longer. I think that your word is so very important, and that is part of your character. And so when I think of integrity, I think of that, and that's kind of how I roll, Like,
Excellent.
yeah, and I feel like I walk the talk, so that's what it means to me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Honey Lauren. Writer, director, and obviously actress, amazing actress, award-winning actress. Thank you so much for joining the Friday Vibe and Integrity Magazine. I do apologize about the noisy puppy. I'll blame the kids, but ultimately it's always my fault.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope
you're very welcome. But if anyone wanted to watch your work or get in touch with you, how could they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook as Honey Lauren. There is also honeylauren.net, and Wives of the Skies is on Prime, and there's even wivesoftheskies.com, I believe it is. And but they could always reach me through Facebook, which is always a good way. I'm on Instagram also, Honey Lauren.
So, excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. What an absolute pleasure. And we just wish you well with all your projects, and with also Wives of the Sky. I hope it does really well over the next few months, and also Sweet Taste of Souls as well, in which you play an amazing character. Everyone has to watch both of those films. If you do nothing else, watch both of those.
Absolutely. Sweet Taste of Souls is coming out November 1st, and it's directed by Terry Ross, who's an amazing director and human. It's such a good person. And so we're all very excited, and I'm so proud of B, and I'm so proud of Felicity and Tom Mulligan, as you know.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah. So we're very excited about this. Yay.
You're like a family. Thank you so much for coming on, and enjoy the rest of your Friday and the weekend. Thank you, Honey Lauren. You've been an amazing guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.